Hello everyone. Today I'm going to introduce the function of policy and the security policy. Let's get started. What is the security policy? Every packet passing through NU is controlled beyond the policy. In addition to accessing the internet and corresponding to virtual servers, there are also VPN connections such as IPsec VPN, PPTP, L2TP, SSL VPN, which are also controlled by policy. As NU security policy, when no rules is set on it, it means that it is completely unreachable. Every packet cannot pass through NU if there is a need to connect. The rule must be set. And the policy are divided into security policy, IPsec policy, and the SD-WAN policy. This time we mainly introduce the security policy part. Next, I will introduce the concept of security policy. The security policy has priorities. So the 1 is higher than 2, 2 is higher than 3. When the packet enters NU, it will start to compare the rules. It will compare them one by one according to the priority. If there are rules that match the directions of the packet, it will not compare the next rule. The pages of security policy are priorities. So the advance is higher than incoming, and the incoming is higher than outgoing. This means that if there are rules with the same effect in advance and outgoing, it will only apply in advance, because the rules in advance have higher priority. Security policy defaults to reject all. So no settings means no packets can pass through. The security policy are divided into 4 pages. The picture on the right is the actual screen. So the outgoing is the security policy from internal to internal or internal to external. The incoming is the security policy from external to internal. The advance is no distinction between internal and external. This is controlled with zone to zone. And SYN protection is the security policy from external to internal. It provides a SYN protection mechanism. It will pass it to the real server after confirming that the connection is genuine and comply with TCP 3-way handshake. Today we are talking about outgoing, incoming, and advance. Later we will introduce to you what are they commonly used. Outgoing is a security policy from internal to internal or internal to external. There are routine and NAT modes to choose from. What types of rule will be set in outgoing? For example, internal to internal connections, or internal users accessing the internet, or I want to prevent internal users from connecting to a specific IP address or a service port. These all can be set in outgoing. Incoming is an external to internal rule. When we need to map a port to an internal host, we will set the rule here. For example, if I have a web server that needs to open HTTPS and HTTP to the internet, I can set the rule in incoming. Advanced, whether it is outgoing or incoming rules, you can set them here. And it is controlled in a zone-to-zone manner. It may be used in some specific architectures. For example, in external to internal routing mode, or structures such as MPLS VPN will definitely need to be set here. Next, I will talk about security policy interface, and I will use outgoing to explain it. So you can change the page. You can change the page above by clicking on them. Click Add to below to add policies. The newly added rules will be added to the bottom with the lowest priorities. There is a pencil and a cross icon on the right, which means that the rules can be added or deleted. You can also use the drop-down menu on the left to sort the priorities. Priority 1 is the highest, and the priority 5 is the lowest. You can click the statistic on the right to see the real-time record of the packets. And you can see that I currently only have a record for the first rule because my settings source and the destination is any. If the first rule has met all the conditions, it will not be compared to the next policy. It is suggested to set the rule with more source, destination, and port restrictions to a higher priorities. Will they have a chance to be compared? Click refresh and the zone counter to update or reset the packet's statistic on the right. Click delete all rules to clear all the rules on the outgoing page. You will be asked to enter a password before clearing to avoid accidentally click it. Click the action and you can choose to copy or move the rules. The move refers to moving the specific outgoing rules to the advanced page. And the search rule facilitates administrators to find rules. And it will show rules setting here. If the on and off displays a triangle icon, it means that the rule is enabled. If the on and off shows pause icon, it means that the rules are paused. The pause rule can be regarded as not existing. And then you can move your mouse over the icon to see the corresponding meaning. And when you click or add or edit rules, you will see this screen. The basic settings are to define the source and the destination network segments or IP addresses to these rules. Here you can choose to choose the designated gateway to assign it or which IP to use to access the internet, and whether the action is permit to pass it or refuse to pass it. Clicking on the policy setting below will expand this screen. This is for administrators to choose which policy functions to apply. This is not a setting that must be set. If the administrator does not want to apply any policy functions, the rules can also be worked. If you click on Firewall protection, you will see this checkbox. Checking means that this rule needs to apply protection. Unchecking means that this rule does not apply the protection. If all the checkboxes here are unchecked, the rules will still work, but it don't have any firewall protection function on it. So this is the introduction about the concept and the functions of the policy and the security policy. Thanks for your attention.